All right, good morning, Patreon. It is time to do another rules and regs video. We have a lot of new people at the channel. Thank you for being here. Mucho apreciado, which is the Espanol for thanks. And we just need to run over some things so that we're all on the same page here. First and foremost, be polite in the comments. Nobody here is engaged in battle with anybody else here. And if you are, your mindset and your heart set is not in the appropriate place to be here at this channel. We're not here to beat each other up. We're here to lift each other up and to educate each other. So if you feel yourself getting a little, take 5, take a deep breath, simmer down, maybe have a cup of coffee, maybe a nice cool glass of iced tea, whatever, don't care. But simmer down, be polite, and understand that the person on the other end of that keyboard is just as real as you are, and they're here for the same reasons you are. So lift each other up. Do not beat each other up. Links in the comments had better be relative to the subject matter. Just because I'm a context person, there are few things that annoy me more than if I have a video on, for example, when I'm reading my Bible on YouTube and then I get questions like, yeah, but did you see that what Iran is doing? Or, I mean, you could even make the argument that's biblical, but it was like, oh, I heard that in Minnesota they're going to outlaw ethanol. I don't care. That has nothing to do with the conversation we're having. So here on Patreon, if you're going to put a link in the comments underneath the video, please, it had better be relevant to what we're talking about in the video. If it's not, I hate that. Okay, I hate it. So please be respectful and mindful of that. Otherwise, put your links over in the community section. That's what it's for. It's for links and for y'all, the community, to converse with one another. It's kind of clunky, which is why we created the forums section at bearindependent.com. So you can go to bearindependent.com and click the tabs in the upper right hand corner and click on forum or forums or whatever. And there's a whole wealth of conversation and information and edification going on over there. This is not something that we discuss on YouTube at all. The vast majority of people who are a member of the Bear Nation know nothing about the forums. That's on purpose. Let's keep it that way. I don't want it getting clogged up with a bunch of traffic. I want it there to be used as an asset to y'all so that y'all can talk to each other without me having to get in the middle of it, because I get way too many emails that are like, Bear, do you know anybody in East Overshoe, Indiana? I can't play matchmaker between all these different people, the vast majority of which I've never met before. So y'all can go to the forums and say, hey, is there anybody in Chandler, Arizona? As a matter of fact, there are. And have that conversation amongst yourselves. Or, hey, I'm trying to sell my dozer. Or, you know, what do you guys think we should get for radios? A Patriotic Trucker, man, you've been doing a whole lot of good posts over there as well. Badger's been keeping an eye on things. Bless you, brother. There's lots of good stuff happening at the forums, so check that out. Please do not share or add to playlists, public playlists on YouTube, my Patreon videos. Put your businessman hat on. These videos are my product that I produce with my resources, including the most precious resource I have, my time. They're my product. And so and it has been done, I believe, in love and appreciation for the content in the past of adding these videos to playlists. But understand that when you take a private video and you make it public, available to the public, it's the same as me deciding that I'm gonna walk into your chainsaw shop and pick up this saw that's your product. I'll walk out here into the street and give it away for free out on the curb. It's no different. There's a product that has value that is mine, which is these videos that I share with you, frankly, at a cost. That's how this Patreon thing works. And so that to then have it shared to the greater public at no cost, it cheapens the value of what we do here. Okay? There is an element of exclusivity at play here on Patreon, and that's a good thing because we don't have to deal with the riffraff here. We don't have the trash talkers. We don't have the interrupters. We don't have the people who suck here. And it takes away from the contribution that everybody else makes to be here when we give this product away for free elsewhere. So please do not share these videos or add them to a playlist that is public on YouTube. It jacks me up. I don't love it. So if you want to communicate with me, the most effective way to go about doing that, while you can send me a Patreon message, and I do check them and try and reply, the most effective way to communicate with me is to send me an email and then put in the subject line of the email, Patreon $1, $3, $5, $10, $20. Okay, cool. And I will get to it. I will see it. I have a person whose job it is to make sure that I see it. That will get curated into my email where I will go, I need to respond to this person because they're a patron. If you send me a Patreon message, Patreon sends me an email that says, hey, you sent me a message. Then I have to go to Patreon to check that message. It actually makes my life much more difficult to receive Patreon messages than it does to receive emails. And I get a hell of a lot of emails. So that should tell you something about Patreon messages. They're not easy for me. And every time you send me a Patreon message, you might as well send me an email because I'm already getting an email. So the email address is ntxmag, November Tango X-ray, Mike Alpha Golf @gmail.com. And I'm trying not to sound like an a-hole, but you know, I get a ton of emails. So if you're gonna email me, please, sometimes, man, I get emails from some of y'all that are like this long. With all due respect, I don't have the time. I just can't. When I get as many emails as I do, again, there is somebody whose job it is. They run my calendar and my emails. That's it. That's it. And the scope of their position is growing daily. That's how many emails I get. So when your email printed out is several pages long, frankly, I don't have time to read it. And so I would ask that you would please communicate in bullet points. Hey Bear, love the show, thank you. Bullet point 1, bullet point 2, bullet point 3, question. Like, please, it helps me quite a bit. Use as much brevity as possible because I just don't have the time. If I need more context when I get your email, I will ask you for it. But yeah. Stickers. The response to stickers has been literally overwhelming. It has been incredible to me how many of y'all want bear stickers and have signed up for bear stickers. We shipped all the ones we had, ordered more, got them in. We're in the process of shipping those. So I've gotten a few emails that are like, hey man, I've been your Patreon patron for 20 days and I haven't got a sticker yet. They're coming. Okay, they're coming. Please just bear with me. They are coming. If you have submitted your contact information for stickers, I've gotten them and I will send them to you. If you have not submitted your info, and I don't mean you submitted it but haven't gotten them yet. I mean, if you have not submitted your shipping information for stickers and you are a $3 or above patron, email me and we'll hook you up. I'll get them out to you. But just allow me some time to ship them because there's some logistics on our end to getting things like that done. $50 and $100 patrons, and I get all the time people are like, I can't believe you have patrons that high. Well, A, I can't help it if they're brain damaged. I mean, I love y'all, but clearly something's not right here. And B, we provide a service here on Patreon. You see, Patreon is the a little look behind the scenes here. Lift up my skirt an inch for you and let you see what's going on here. The business model behind Patreon for us was that we wanted to develop a preparedness consultancy, which we have done with Prosperity. But the business model here is to make a preparedness consultancy available to everybody, so that you don't have to have a big fat checkbook to do business with us. For $1 a month, you have access to all of these questions that were being asked. And so you have a consultant, me, that you can ask questions of. And we wanted a way to make that equitable for y'all, profitable for us, and accessible to everybody. And that's what Patreon does for us. This is a preparedness consultancy masquerading as a Patreon channel. And so for our $50 and $100 clients, because that's how we think of them, they have phone calls where if they have questions, they can write them down and say, yo, Bear, what about this? I can go, that's a great question. Here's an answer for you. Those calls are scheduled through my Acuity scheduler. If you don't have the link to that, email me, $50 and $100 patrons, and I will send you the link to the Acuity scheduler. That's the other part, my calendar, that is run by my assistant, Monica. Okay. Lastly, I've been getting a bunch of emails like, hey, Bear, you should answer this question. And the vast majority of those emails are good, but yet again, they're more emails. So typically the way it works here on Patreon is if you have a question that you would like to submit for a mini consult, I do a post about every 4 to 6 weeks called Gimme Your Questions. And on the Gimme Your Questions post, comment underneath that, hey Bear, how many goats do you think 3 people need to have a sustainable milk supply post SHTF, and how much feed is it going to take to support them? Good question. We'll answer that. Or, hey Bear, I'm trying to weigh the merits between a 5.56 platform and a 5.45 platform. What do you think? Good question. We'll answer that. Or a lot of the times, your questions that you would ask have already been answered here on Patreon, and other people will chime in and say, hey, you need to watch this video. Or if I see enough people asking the same questions, and it's all curated there in that one post, I can go, we definitely need to do a video on this, or this thing that we've already shot 3 videos on, people are still asking questions about, so let's go back and hit this again, or we need to repost this video because of this question, right? It's all curated, it's all there in one place, and that makes my life much easier because it's a single touch point for me. I can go to one place visually and see all of these things, if that makes sense. So, to recap, be nice to each other, be polite, understand that person on the other side of the keyboard, that is your brother or sister. Treat them as such. Links in the comments relative to the description. Please use the community section for everything that is not relevant to the discussion, and to interact with one another. To really interact with one another, go to the forums at bearindependent.com. That's what they are there for. And I rue the day that YouTube realizes that there are forums at bearindependent.com, because it's going to make our life that much more difficult. Okay, so let's keep it under wraps for right now. Do not share Patreon videos. A lot of our videos have ended up in email chains and, sorry, my shoulders are hot. A lot of our videos have ended up in email chains. Our Patreon videos have ended up posted on Facebook, and then added to public playlists. I appreciate the heart set of people who share our content in that regard, trying to help other people. But it's like taking a product that's not yours off of the shelf and walking out there and giving it away for free. Email me rather than Patreon message me, because when you Patreon message me, I get an email anyway. So you make double the work for me when you message me. Allow time for stickers to ship. We will get them to you. I am a man of my word. To the best of my ability, if I say I'm going to do something, I will do it. Occasionally life happens and it takes longer than it should have to get it done, but I will get it done. And $50 and $100 patrons, email me and I'll get you the link for you to set up your calls. Also, and we should talk about this briefly, I take sabbatical months, 4-hour work week, bro. So I do 2 months wide open and then I do a month off. 2 months wide open, just as hard and as fast as we can go, then a month off. And so you may notice if you've tried to schedule calls during a certain time period that, hey, there's no calls available. That's just the way that it is for me to maintain my sanity, to be able to continue to do all the things that I do. So we do our best to honor our commitments to everybody, including y'all that get phone calls. But, you know, I pre-record content for a month's worth of content for Patreon and YouTube so that I can take a month off and do nothing. I'll do what I want to do, not what I need to do. So, and then lastly, submit your questions for mini consults via the Gimme Your Questions post. That way all those questions are curated where I can see them, and there's a lot of good conversation and back and forth in the comments there. So thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate y'all. You are tremendous, and you are the economic engine that drives the Bear Independent machine. We could not do it without Patreon, and for real, I would not do it without Patreon, and I'm deeply thankful for you guys. It means the world to us that so many people believe so deeply in what they do that they feel compelled to pay us to do it or to contribute to our cause. And so, thank you. Really, thank you. And so, be a light unto the nations. Be nice to people. Lift people up. Build each other up. And I'll see you out there, as my pastor would say. Shalom.